Capricorn, welcome to your monthly sidereal forecast for July 2015. My name is Athen. So this month we've got two full moons, one on the 1st, starting off the month, and then one on the 31st, closing off the month. So at the beginning, the full moon is in your 12th house of behind-the-scenes activities, spirituality, connecting to the tranquil side of life. And that's where you've had Pluto already transiting for the past many years. So you guys are transforming spiritually, and that's what this full moon is really going to show us, is this culmination of where we're transforming. And for you, it's on the spiritual side of things, the deeper side of things, the rest, relaxation, things of this nature. So high energy here, but for you, it's more of a spiritual type and meditative type, but still nonetheless an awareness of that. And this is a very transformative month with a lot of aspects up to Pluto. And this full moon is no exception, as it's happening within 5 degrees of Pluto and of Mars, which is another very transformative planet, naturally ruling the 8th house. So here, around this time, also having non-attachment is very important, like I've been saying in the other videos. Non-attachment and just overall being willing to change. And here it's being willing to change your life so that you can connect to spirituality, you can connect to the deeper, more tranquil side of life, which is the 12th house, and also make any changes relating to your routine in order to facilitate that. That's going to be a big emphasis with a lot of this fast movers in your 6th house. So anyways, in either case, full moon here, a culmination point also of the past 6 months relating to your 12th house of spirituality also, and a fruition of or an awareness of that as well. Now, it's an optimistic entry into the month for the most part. Venus will be conjoining up to Jupiter, so I think the things you'll be quite optimistic about perhaps will be on the relationship side of things, because it's in your 7th house. You've had a lot of opportunities perhaps to connect through one-on-one connections with Jupiter here for almost the past year, and now with Venus going over can really emphasize that. And she naturally rules your 5th house of romance, for some of you can be very romantic time, and then 10th house of career. So I think you'll be very optimistic about work and career and those types of things as well, particularly relating to those one-on-one connections. 5th and 6th, the Sun opposes up to Pluto, further emphasizing this balance that I was talking about with the routine and the spiritual side of things. And so here I think you're going to be very motivated with the routine, day-to-day self-improvement or being of service in some way. So just remember to make sure you are getting enough of that rest and relaxation. And don't have, it's best to not have any attachments to either side of this. Just trust, let go, allow things to unfold as they will. And in that way, there can be a tremendous flow in your day-to-day experiences with this. And with the Sun naturally ruling your 8th house, I mean, this is natural for you Capricorns. You already see the truth. You're already very good and adept at expressing it. So it's an extra fuel to that fire. So just be sure that whatever you are expressing or saying this month in particular, it's coming from the right place, it's coming from compassion, because Pluto, can be very truthful, sometimes too truthful. So I've been saying that for most of the other signs, and for you because it's going to be relating to this house of compassion, of spirituality, of making sure that this is what Pluto's been showing you, is how to strip away all that stuff that's just not really meaningful in life. This life in many ways is about connecting to God, connecting to spirit or the universe, and having that connection and feeling that knowing self, as consciousness in this life. So that's been very transformative, and that can be very supportive when you're willing to change the ego-related things, which is what Pluto does, is strips away all of our ego attachments. And this is relating to service, routine, and things of that nature. Now, also on the 5th and 6th, around that time, Saturn is dipping back into your 10th house of working career. So here, I think another opportunity now to continue to work on the working career stuff, because you've been putting in a lot of energy into this over the past 3 years with Saturn in the 10th. Up until recently, over the past few months, well, 7 or 8 months now, when Saturn went into your 11th a while back. So now think back to the past, this whole time period, for the past 3 years, minus the past 7 or 8 months, relating to working career, where you've been putting in a lot of hard work into that. And I'm sure maybe you have been still putting in hard work in career, but really emphasize now, lots of discipline. And so continue with that for the next few months with your ruler now in the 10th house. At the top of the chart now for the next few months. Discipline, hard work, pragmatism with everything on that career and public level. Very important there. Reworking too. Maybe there's some things to rehash or redo about it as well. On the 8th, Mercury joins up with Mars and the Sun in the 6th house. And so here I think you'll naturally be thinking about the routine. It's a natural area for Mercury to be in too. So I think wanting to, understand more, wanting to communicate, wanting to express yourself in terms of your service, what's important to you in terms of giving, contributing, things like this, and in the work environment as well, in your day-to-day environment, just overall expressing yourself more, overall being more direct, I think, too, and with Mercury, understanding the routine and working at it and reworking at it and things like that. So that'll be an emphasis. Now, on the 15th as well, while that happens, on the 15th, we have a new moon taking place here in this 6th house of yours. So there are some new beginnings shaping up relating to the routine and health and service work. So reflecting on this around the 15th is a very good idea, and sitting with it and seeing where it goes in this lunar cycle. Because once the energy builds, that's when we really want to put in the energy. But around the 15th, reflect on it. And at that time, Mercury and Mars are going to be conjunct in that 6th house. So there's a lot of direct energy, a lot of assertiveness, like I was saying, relating to the service or work or career or taking action or doing something there. So just make sure whatever that is, you're balancing it and willing to make change here. That's the most important thing, is that the more willing you are to make change here in the 6th, the more this energy is going to flow. Because that opposition, it's very powerful involving these planets. So, and also too with your speech, I've been saying this too with all the signs, make sure that you're being very conscious of what you're saying and speaking as well. So that's Mercury in particular, because Mars with Mercury is a lot of, you're thinking about your goals, your drives, your ambitions, maybe even home related things, Mars ruling your 4th, and your satisfaction in your work, your community related things also with Mars as well. So changes there. Now, on the 22nd and 23rd, we've got the Sun conjoining up to Mercury. When that happens, they actually go into your 7th house in that conjunction. It's a subtle energy. It's a little bit of the 6th and 7th around this time. But still, I think there's perhaps some excitement, some communication in the relationship, one-on-one connection side of things, where you've had those opportunities with Jupiter. So now really expressing yourself with your one-on-one connections, I think that's going to really be emphasized. Watching communication there, expressing, your ideas in relation to that, because Mercury and the Sun is like you're expressing your ideas, your passions, the things that are really important to you. And in that way, that can be very exciting and fun and playful if you make it so with those one-on-one connections. 25th and 26th, Venus goes retrograde. She did just go into your 8th here that I forgot to mention here on the 15th. So middle of the month, she goes into the 8th and then goes retrograde on the 25th and 26th. So this whole second half of the month, she is in your 8th house. So you can really connect to the deeper side of things, those deeper bonds, especially with relationships, even with work, really connecting to your work on that deeper level because she rules your 10th. Also fun, transforming your fun, seeing how enjoyment of life and your self-expression can be truthful. You can speak the truth in a very positive way that is helpful for you and everyone involved. And so learning about that once she goes retrograde from the 25th and 26th into next month will be a good lesson, some things to learn about those deeper communications, deeper bonds, things like that. And while that happens, Uranus goes retrograde at the very same time in your 3rd house of thoughts and communication. So there's been a lot of freeing up energy with your communications and thoughts, perhaps over the past many years for sure, but perhaps recently with all this eclipse energy of your 3rd house. So that freeing energy, just reflecting on how you're communicating and speaking now for the next 6 months and how you can bring more freedom into that area of your life. Speak with more individuality, really speak from who you are. In that sense, will be a good energy to work with. On the 31st, we've got the full moon taking place. The second one here in Capricorn, your 1st house. So this is culmination now of perhaps some of these new beginnings relating to the work and day-to-day environment and health and things like that. But here your full moon is a culmination really of the past 6 months, since a lot of your guys' birthdays if you're watching this for your sun sign. But a lot of the goals, ambitions, and things you started around that time, in either case, regardless of what you're watching this for, that is now coming to a culmination and fruition and awareness. So really reflecting on your goals and who you are, where you're going, that type of thing. It's a good idea here at the end of the month. And like I said, can be a culmination of these routine and 6th house matters as well. Anything you've been putting in energy on that work or day-to-day environment. So Capricorn, definitely the emphasis on that 6th house this month, especially the first half with the routine, the health, the diet being of service, remembering the importance of rest, relaxation, and truthfulness in that balanced way. Saturn going into the 10th this month, shifting subtly, I think putting in more hard work with working career and things like that, and reworking some things perhaps relating to career and relationships. I think all in all, I think are going quite well this month. from the beginning and the end with both Venus and then the fast-moving planets going into that 7th house at the end. And that's where you're going to have a lot of these new beginnings next month as well. So Capricorn, have a nice month. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check out masteringzodiac.com, or if you'd like a personal session,